in our next fringe benefit that we'll be looking at, we will be looking at meals and refreshments and vouchers for meals and refreshments. And this is basically a situation where your employer gives you food or something to drink, some sort of refreshment, or he gives you a voucher, so basically a money, so he gives you a voucher to buy a 50 rands hamburger, right? So the question is, what happens then? Now, if your employer gives you a meal or refreshment, then the cost to the employer will be the cash equivalent for fringe benefit purposes. So that's the amount that will be included. But, guys, much more often, fringe benefits or meals and refreshments, there will be no value. Most of the time there will be no value. And when will there be no value? There will be no value if you give the meal or refreshment in a canteen or a restaurant, which is used mainly, so more than 50% or wholly, completely by employees. So this is, at my business premises, we have a separate little building that is a canteen for just staff members, and I make them food and I give them free food there. Okay, so that'll be tax free. If it is given on the business premises of the employer, it is tax free as well. So this will be, even if there's no restaurant, if the employer goes and he buys food and he gives it to people at their desks where they sit and eat, for example, or where they work, then that will also not have a value. If it's given during extended working hours, such as overtime, so if you're working late and your boss buys you some takeouts, for example, there's no value. Or if it's a special occasion, or even normal working hours. So special occasion, the company is celebrating being 100 years old and they buy everybody a pizza. All right, that, for example, will be a null value. And then any situation where an employee has to entertain someone on behalf of the employer. So they ask me, I'm working for someone, my boss tells me to go out to a restaurant, and at the restaurant I buy myself food as well as for the customer. That food that the employer is paying me for, or is paying for, I won't be taxed on it. So, what type of meals will get taxed on? Basically, it will be a situation where they take you and they allow you to buy food and it has nothing to do with the company at all. So, for example, if Mr. X, or if X Limited, let's call it X Limited, if X Limited gives Mr. Y a meal at a restaurant on a Saturday night for him and his family, so Mr. Y's family, and X Limited pays for it, then there will be a fringe benefit. So as long as it's on the employer's premises, then there will be no fringe benefit.